Hello guys, I'm Christian from Goodiesoft Technology. I welcome you all to this front-end web development course using HTML and CSS. In this course, we are going to learn a lot of things from starting from the introduction to internet to building a web page with HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So guys, we're starting with the introduction to internet, after which follows with HTML and CSS. Before you start developing a website, before you become a programmer, you need to have you need to have a little knowledge or have the basic knowledge of how the internet actually works. It's very important. You know how the internet works. So guys, we're going to talk about the internet because some thought that internet is a cloud hanging somewhere. No, it's not like that. Internet is a large network of computers which communicate all together. Yeah, you can communicate to one another through internet. You can stay in London and you have your friends staying at US. Two of you can communicate to each other through large the network, which is the wire. Internet is a large wire connecting different computers together. Let's go to the documentation of internet online. So says that internet or is the global system of interconnected network that uses the internet protocol to communicate between networks and devices. Is a network of networks that consists of private, public, academic, business, and government network. Like I said, through the help of these large cables, giant cables, you can communicate to one another. You might be staying at Spain and you can communicate to someone at US through the help of these giant cables. We have the web page, the website, the web server, the search engine, and we are going to look at all of this. And you have to know that the requests you made online, you can get them through the web server because we have other computers that are connected to internet, such as the server. Yes, before you can access Google homepage, you need to make a request from your device to Google server. Then the request, then the server will send the response to you in millions of seconds time. So guys, you can imagine the response we get to you through the help of these giant wires. So guys, let's talk about the web page and all we have to say in this lesson. In this section of this video we are watching, we describe various web related concepts like I said before, the web pages, the website, the web server and search engine. Those terms are often confused by newcomers or are incorrectly used. So let's learn what they each means. We are starting from the web page. Web page, you can say, is a document which can be displayed in a web browser such as Firefox, Google Chrome, Opera Mini, Edge and other web browsers. Yes, they are all often called just pages, but the collection of the web page is called website. Yes, the collection of web pages is called website. Then we have our web server. A web server is a computer that hosts a website on the internet. A web server must be connected 24 hours 7 on internet so that it can serve, because it is where people go to make requests to, so that it will able to serve people. You can imagine a library that is open 24 hours 7. You can go in and make your request and get the response at any time of your choice. That's what web server is. You can imagine if you search something on Google and you couldn't get the response, maybe the server is not on or the server has been down. So that's why, but for the server to serve, it must be up 24 hours 7. So guys, we have the search engine. The search engine is a web service that helps you to find other web pages such as Google, yahoo.com, Gramino, and so on and so forth. That's what search engine is all about. Then looking at the front end web development, because what are the requirements, what are the necessary things you need to know. You have to know that the front end web development is on its own, like wise we have back end web development. The web front end web development is just the structure what you are seeing, the client side, while the back end is what perform the logic. For example, you can make a registration on the form, what submit the form, where the form goes, where your data are being stored with the help of MongoDB or your server. You get, so back end development is different from front end development. For you to start front end development course, you need to have your laptop, have your VS Code installed, then have Google Chrome on your system. Then I'm going to tell you people on how to store VS Code on your system. Then in front end web development, we have many terms like API and many other things. API simply means application programming interface. It helps you to interact to other computers. For example, you can have your front end web development course hosted at UK, you can have the backend hosted at US, any of the server, then two of them can be talking to each other with the help of API. But as time goes on, as you go into deep in the course, you will know more about API concept. So guys, let me show you guys how to install VS Code on your system. So we are going to type code vsstudio.com download. If you type it on your system, then you're going to search. Then it's going to open this website. You're going to click on it. Then, if you are using Windows, you have to download this. See this prescription says Windows 10 and Windows 11, 64-bit. You have to know that. Then this is for other operating system, while this is for Mac. You can use this for Linux and many other. So after that, click. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to click on Window, but I have VS Code installed on my system. So I'm going to block this from downloading. If it brings something like this, try to choose the directory so that where you can save the raw file, after which you will get it. So you're going to do save. Once you click save, then I'm going to cancel my own because I have VS Code installed on my system already. So let me open where I have my VS Code installed so that I can direct you on how to do that. So guys, after the successful download of the VS Code, then you have to open the raw file so that you can install it. This message shows that I have VS Code already installed in my system. If you don't have VS Code installed in your system, you're not going to see this message. But if you have VS Code installed on your system, please don't try to download it so that you don't have some issues. So I'm going to say okay so that I will show you on how to download it. So I have is place where VS Code is open on my system. I'm going to cancel it, then open this one and say okay. Then after that, you're going to see this, try to read properly so that you understand. Then I'm going to say next. I'm going to show you something, but I'm not going to install it. Then you are going to accept the terms and condition. After which you press next, you press next. Then here, try to click this. If it's not clicked on it, because I know that on default add to part is always clicked. Then add to part, you have to do it so that you don't have some issues while you start going along on your course. So you can click on this great a desktop icon if you want that. Then after which you are going to do next. I'm not going to do that. After the next, you are going to finish the other setup. After the next, then install. After the successful install, then you are going to cancel it. Then VS Code is installed on your system. So after that, I'm going to open the VS Code. You can search for it here, or the place you choose where it will be installed on your system. So when VS Code is open on your system on default, it's not going to open like this because I have work already work on my system. So it's not going to open like this. So I'm going to do new window so that you see the default open of VS Code. So once VS Code is installed on your system, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. You will not see recent file because you have not been using VS Code unless you have been using VS Code before, so that is when you will see recent files, the folders. Sorry, you're going to see your recent work you have done. So after that, you're going to do open. This is new file, open folder, and many other things. So you are not going to see this. You are not going to see this. You are going to see only this for the extension and many other tools. So here is the file. Here I want to show you some little things so that as we go on, we are going to learn more on how to use all this. You have to click on this auto save so that whenever you are typing something on your text editor, on your editor, it will automatically save. You don't need to be doing Control S to save your work again. Then after that, as we go on deep in this course, we are going to learn on how to install some extensions necessary for this front-end web development course. So now we are going to start with the introduction of HTML, what HTML is all about, how to write your first HTML code and display it on your web browser. I'm going to explain what is tag and elements. Now I just open a new folder called web on my desktop. Then I'm going to open an HTML file. So if you don't know how to open your folder with your VS Code, You can just click on open folder here. You can create a new folder or use an existing folder. Once you click on it, it will be open. So let me quickly start. Now, it is quite important to know the extensions of what you are working on. For example, if you are dealing with HTML, the extension will be .html. If you are dealing with JavaScript, the extension will be .js. If you are dealing with Python, py, PHP, .php. So it's very important for you to know the extensions you are working on. First of all, for example, if you are working on CSS, the same thing is applicable. Now I want to get my first HTML file. So for me to do that, I'm going to select a new file. Remember, it's not in a folder, it's in a file. I'm going to say index or home.html, anyone, the name, that's what I want to name now. I will say index dot the extension, which is HTML. You can name it home.html based on what you are working on, so that once you see the file's name, you will know exactly what are inside those files. Now if I press enter and the file has successfully created. Okay. So now the VS Code editor is empty. Is there? I'm the one that will initialize the HTML template. But before I do that, I want to explain some things. Before you can start, we have HTML5, we have other versions of HTML, but the HTML5 is the latest version we are using now. So I'm going to type, I'm going to say dot. As you can see, I'm typing this, the browser is showing me this, but I'm going to type it one after the other so that you understand more. Dot type, then I say HTML. Yeah, as you can see, I did not put the exclamation mark. That's why I'm having the closing tag. But dot type HTML does not have a closing tag. That's the element. So after the putting this element, I'm going to start with the HTML element. Going to type HTML. Then the HTML element have closing, opening and closing tag. As you can see, this is the opening tag of HTML, while this is the closing tag of HTML. The difference between the opening tag and closing tag, the difference is the closing tag have an exclamation mark that differentiates it from the opening tag. So it's like this. So after putting the HTML opening and closing tag, then the next thing that follows is the head. The head have opening and closing tag. Yeah. In the head, the things that you see in the head is like meta text. You're going to see the title, you're going to see all the CSS links, external and online CSS link. That's what you are going to see on the head. And on this head, you can style your CSS on this head. If you are using internal CSS style, yes, you can style the CSS on the head using style, then start writing your CSS style. But I'm going to show you guys that to a, when we start using CSS in our course. So now I'm going to type title, because every website you are working on must have title. That is title. Title have opening and closing tag. It's very important. So I can say my first web page. Yeah, that is my title. Then after the head comes the body. The body, in this body, everything that will be displayed on the browser will be inside the body. Everything that will be displayed in the browser will be inside the body. All the content, both the paragraph, the headings, the images, the links, and many more, everything will be displayed on the body element. So, and the body have closing and opening tag. This is the opening tag of body. Why this is the close tag of the body. Sorry. Why this is the close tag of my body. So everything now that will be displayed on my web browser will be showing on this body. For example, let me use paragraph. Let me use headings and say H1. We say this is heading. So this is headings. And this is heading. So let's open this on our web browser. By opening this on our web browser, I'm going to right click here, open with live server, or I'm going to say go live. But before you will see open with live server, you have to install the extension. Go to your extension. This is the extensions. Then on this extensions place, you are going to search for live server. You are going to search for live server. Once you have not installed it, kindly do so by installing the extension of lifestyle so that by on right click on the editor you will see the open with live server. Without installing it you cannot see it. So I'm going to say open with live server so that you can see the first content in our web page. So as the live server is starting, is the server is still starting. So yeah, you can see this is heading, the H1 we use, and this is my first web page. That is our title of our website, of our web page. So that is our title. You see the title, then this is heading. That's first thing you see. So after this body, we have other HTML elements and their opening and closing tags. We have some tags that don't have closing tags. For example, like break, if you want to use break, break does not have close tag. Elements like img that are used to display image does not have closing tag. What I mean by break is like this. For example, if I want to type something like paragraph by paragraph, for example, I can okay. This is the closing tag of my paragraph. I can say let me use rolling so that it will be more fast. Then I put rolling. This rolling, if you open it on our on our browser, it is very long in size. So if I want to shorten it like so that it will not start from here to the end of the my screen, what I will do is just use the element which is break. It does not have a closing tag. You have to know that some element does not have a closing tag. Yes. So as you can see, it can break the line. So that's it. So let's start from the headings. Yeah, after the body, we are going to have the headings of your website. After the headings, you have the content, you have the banner, you have many other sections. But in this lesson, we are going to learn we are going to learn the headings, we have the paragraph, how to link your images, and how to how to link your images and how to put external link. For example, if you have more HTML files. If you are working on a big project and you have plenty HTML files, you have to link all of them so that it will be connected, which is your website. Um, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So let's start from the heading. After the heading one, which is the highest and the biggest in font size of headings, comes the heading 2 to 6. If you go down, it will decrease. If you come up, it will increase. So after the H1, we have H2. Let me copy this and paste here. You can say this is heading 2, while this is heading 1. Yes, this is heading 1, this is heading 2. Then we have heading 3, we have headings 3. So this is heading 3. We have it to heading 6. That's what I'm going to show you guys. Then we have 5. Then comes the 6, which is the smallest of all the headings. We have 6. So this is our heading 6. So let's open our web browser to see the headings, the fonts, yeah, their sizes. As you can see, the heading 1 is the highest, followed by 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is the lowest headings. Values. But the heading 1 is the mostly used headings of all. So after the headings, let me show you on how to list items in ordered list and unordered list. Yes, unordered list we use something like button to display the items, while ordered list we use numbers. It will number the items accordingly. For us to achieve that, this is the let me show you the text for the ordered list. This is for the ordered list. It has an opening and closing tag. Yes. Well, this is the list. I can say item, item 1. Okay, let me say item A. Yes, this is item A. See. Why this will be item B. This will be item B. Why this will be item C. This will be our item C. So if we open our web browser now, we are going to see it. This is an ordered list, ordered from 1 to 3. Then let me show the unordered. Unordered. Unordered goes like this with opening and closing tag of 8 years. This is example of unordered list. So here we are going to list our items. Let's say item A, then item B, then item C. So if you open it, you see it's used out to display the item. Yeah, this is the ordered of listing of ordered list and ordered list. So after that, let's see how we can link to other websites using anchor tag. So let's do that quickly. So we have an anchor tag. Anchor tag has a closing tag. It has a closing tag, but it uses href. It uses href. It contains As you can see, it says it contains a URL or fragment that hyperlink points. It points to. Let's quickly show how we can link to web other pages on our website by using anchor tag. Don't forget that anchor tag element has an opening and closing tag, which is like this. This is the closing tag. You can say click me. Let's put click me here. So if we go to our web browser, this is what we are going to see. Can you see? Click me. So let's add the href. It specifies the the link destination. Yes, let me put it down. Specify the link destination, like where it will lead you to. That's what is specified. So let's type it again. Let's say HTML. You can see this. Let's check our web browser. You see something that is different. Do you see the difference here? Yeah. So that is how to link to other websites. For example, if I have another file, index.html file here called home.html. Yes, there's nothing inside it, and I just copied everything that is here and paste here. Let me just remove this. Yes. So when I come here, I will link that home.html. For example, I link that home.html. So if you go to our web browser and refresh the browser, if I click on click me, it will take me to home.html. As you can see, we are on home.html now. Yes. That's how to link your your HTML if you're that's how to link your files, your HTML files. So now let me show you how to put an image. Yes. How to add an image. So I will use an img element. This is the source. Then we don't have any image in this our web folder. So we are going to open a folder inside our web folder called images. New folder. I'm going to say image. Then there's nothing inside the images. So what I'm going to do is for me to go to my desktop where I have my web folder which I'm working on. This is my web folder. This is the image folder. There's nothing inside this image folder. So let me copy one image from my downloads and add to that image folder. So let me just quickly copy this image. I'm looking for one image to copy. So let me copy this image. Then I will go back to the direction and put it here. So now if I go back to my web folder, if I open my VS Code, as you can see the image is here. So for me to link this image, first of all, I have to call the folder's name first before the image name. If you call the image name while the image is inside the folder, it will not work. It can't go like that. But if you call the folder's name first, then before the after calling the folder's name comes the image name, you can get it. Unless if you have your image file outside this image folder. Get that. So let's open our browser and see what we have. So as you can see the image here. You can see the image. This is the image, while this is the click me. Yeah. So that is it. So guys, we are going to stop here. On our next video, we are going to learn how to use CSS to add some styles on our web page. We are going to learn how to style from the headings, the order list, and the image. See you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow us on our social media handles. Subscribe so that when new videos are uploaded, you'll be notified. Thank you.